Welcome to this Elluminate Live participant orientation. My name is Amanda Reed. I'm going to take a few minutes of your time to show you the essential tools that you'll need to know how to use in order to participate in an Elluminate Live session. Let's start by taking a look at the participant's interface. At the top of your screen are a series of tools. The first is the ability to save, then print. The third button actually allows you to change your layout. You can do that without impacting anyone else in the session, so feel free to play around with that. The next three buttons or permissions you may or may not have. It really depends on how the moderator is managing the session. The first is application sharing. If you have the application sharing permission next to your name in the participant window, then you'll have the button. The moderator may also give you permission to send a file in file transfer, but this button is primarily used for you to open up the file transfer library in order to receive files from the moderator. You also have the live video button. You will have the ability to send live video if the moderator has given you permission to do so. You will always have the ability to take your own personal private notes, so feel free to click and open up the notes window and take notes. In fact, you can take notes during this recording. The participant window, this is where we're going to see all of the names listed for everybody in the session. We have a bunch of columns and permissions and buttons here, and I'll go ahead and give you more information about that in just a moment. But essentially, this is where you're going to see who's raising their hand, who's laughing, who's applauding, if somebody's using the microphone. So this gives you a lot of information about what others are doing in the session. In order to raise your hand and lower your hand, you'll click on the Raise Hand button. You can send feedback using emoticons, polling, and the Stepped Away button will allow you to step away from the session, which is your polite way of letting everybody know that you're not available at that particular moment to participate. Text chat, we'll get into more detail about all of these, but the text chat area is where you're going to send and receive text messages, where you'll see the text messages that others are sending. Audio controls, this is where you're going to turn on and off your microphone, and you can adjust your microphone. The biggest area of the screen is reserved for the whiteboard content, which the moderator will post. And then there's a series of whiteboard tools that you'll be able to use during the session if you've been given permission. And finally, the activity window, which is optional. You simply go up to the window drop-down menu and click on activity window to open this up, and then you could track the activity in the session. It's also, if you're using an assistive technology such as a screen reader, you would want to use a screen reader in conjunction with the activity window. Connection speed, it's essential that you set your connection speed appropriately. If you move from one location to the other, for example, from home to work to perhaps a coffee shop, that's a good example of when your connection speed might change, so you'll always want to come in here and make sure it's set correctly. On the PC, it's under the Tools menu, Preferences, Connection Speed. If you're a Mac user, look for the Elluminate Live drop-down menu, Preferences, and Session Connection. Also, if you, let's say you've set it to wireless and you're noticing that your connection is not so great to the session, you're having some connection problems, always a good idea to come in here and lower your connection speed. That just helps the Elluminate server have a better idea of how much information to be sending to you. Okay, I promised more about the participant window. This is where you're going to see all of the permissions, so the moderator can give and take away these permissions. Once again, this is the permission to use the whiteboard, permission to turn on application sharing, permission to send both public and private chat. Now, you'll always be able to send private chat to the moderator, the ability and the permission to turn on live video, and to use your microphone. By the way, when you see the yellow around any of these permissions, it means that somebody is actually actively using that tool. You'll also see the polling responses displayed here. You'll also see if somebody's raised their hand, the numbers indicate the order in which you've raised your hand, and the emoticons. So once again, the raise hand, you can raise your hand, you'll see a number, click it again, and you can lower your own name or your own hand. Emoticons, you give the smiley face, the applause, the confused, or the disagreed, feedback. The polling, clicking on the green check will display a yes response, the red X a no response, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. And once again, the stepped away. If the moderator has given you the microphone, then you will have the ability to turn on your audio. But we always suggest that you go through the Audio Setup Wizard first. So when you enter into your Elluminate session, go to Tools, Audio Setup Wizard. That will ensure that your microphone and your speakers are tuned for the session. Optimal microphone level is in the green, a little bit of yellow. Try to stay out of the red. When you click on the microphone button, it will turn yellow, indicating that you've activated and you've engaged your microphone. You can also use shortcut keys of Control F2. If you've been given the permission to send public chat, you'll see that in the window. You can send the public messages, and you can always send private chat to the moderator. If you also, once again, if you have this permission, you can send private chat to other participants. Public chat shows up in black text. Private message that you have sent to someone or received from someone else is going to show up in blue. In this case, the moderator sent a private message. In this case, the participant responded to that message. Type your message, click send. If you want to choose from everybody in the room or just the moderator or a selected participant, grab that from the drop-down list before you click send. Do keep in mind, if you see the little eye there, that is your indicator that the moderator has the ability to see any private chat messages that one participant sends to another. So the moderator sees all chats. If you have the permission to use the whiteboard, you'll be able to use the pen or the highlighter, type text. Any of the whiteboard tools will be available for you to use, once again, if the moderator has chosen to give you that permission. The moderator will periodically ask questions that require a yes, no, or a multiple choice, or even a pacing response from you. Inside the participant window, that's exactly where you're going to see those polling responses, and they will change based on what the moderator has set. So in this case, the moderator set it to multiple choice. When you respond, your answers will appear in the participant window if the moderator has it set up that way. The moderator could choose to let you see the responses or can hide those responses, completely up to the moderator. Those are the essential tools that you'll need to know how to use in order to successfully participate in an Elluminate Live session. Many additional tools, you might want to get more practice in and get more knowledge on things like application sharing or working with video. Quick reference guides, short recordings, documentation, all of that is available from our website, elluminate.com/training. Thank you for taking the time to watch this recording and enjoy participating in your Elluminate Live sessions.